Myself Padmaja, Associate Professor, Department of CSE, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. Today, let us discuss a number of problems using functions and loops. So, let us start with the first problem. Now, the first problem is to calculate the nth term in the series. Now, suppose if there is a series S where the next term is the sum of the previous three terms. Now, given the first three terms of the series as A, B and C respectively, then you have to find out the nth term of the series using recursion. Now, normally, most of the series problems uses recursive approach. Now, what do you mean by recursion? In programming language, when a function calls itself again and again, then it is called a recursive approach or process. Now, whenever you have been given any mathematical series and you have been asked to find out the next numbers in the series, then the nature of the problem is normally recursive. That means the next term in the series will be calculated by using a particular logic from the previous terms most of the times. So, the same logic will be repeated for the next subsequent terms. So, that is the reason when the process is common for any problem, then we can solve that problem using recursive concepts. Now, you can see in this example, suppose the first three terms are given as A, B and C. So, in this example, when n is equal to 1, so it is A. So, for two terms, it is A, B, and for the three terms, it is A, B, and C. But the next term, nth term you want to compute, then it is computed as S of n minus 1 plus S of n minus 2 plus S of n minus 3. So, this is the formula for computing the nth term in the series. Now, let us see how to compute the nth term in the series. So, for that, first, what input format you have to follow? So, the input format is the first line contains a single integer n and the next line contains three space separated integers, that is the value of A, B, C. So, by taking the value of A, B, C, we are going to compute the nth term in the series. Now, let us start how to do this program. So, let us switch on to the Dev C++ compiler and start writing the program. So, let us move on to our Dev C++. So, first, how to compute the nth term in the series. So, let us start with the header file. So, hash include stdio.h. Now, in this program, suppose we want to use a recursive approach. So, first, let us write down the main function and then we'll write down the recursive function. So, in the main function, first what we have to do, we have to read the number of terms, that is the nth term, and the value of ABC. So, let us write first int main. So, let us take the variables, your int n is the number of terms, then A, B and C, and we have to compute the result. So, we can take result or answer anything, any output term we can take here. Now, first read the value of n and ABC. So, let us write scanf. So, what you have to read? So, percentile D for N, for A, for B and for C. So, if you want, you can give just space between, because this is the default when you enter the input. So, it is ampersand N, comma, ampersand A, comma, ampersand B, comma, ampersand C. So, we are reading the inputs for our program. It is the N value and ABC values. Okay. Now, to compute the result of the series, we will use a function. Suppose the name of the function is find nth term. Find nth term is the name of the function. So, what we are going to pass? We are going to pass n and a, b, c values to that, and it will give you the result of the nth term. What is the nth term that it will return? And that nth term, we can simply print it out. So, in this case, we are using a function, so which takes number of arguments, and also returns arguments. So, with argument, with return type is the type of function we are using over here. So, we are sending 4 arguments and also we are returning, or you are returning the result for the nth term. So, printf. So, you can just write down the nth term in the series. So what is the nth term? So we can display the answer or result what you are getting from our function. So this is what our main program is. So we have written the main program where you have read the input and we are calling the function find nth term, and the result we are displaying over here. Now let us write what type of function is this. So with arguments, with return type. So what type of value it returns? So it returns some integer. So let's write int. So the name of the function is find nth term is the name of the function, and it takes your 4 arguments. So first one is int n, comma int a, comma int b, comma int c. So there are 2 ways to write the function definition. The function definition can be written above main or below main. So if the function definition is below main, then you need to write down the function prototype. So in this case, I am writing the function definition above main. That's why I need not write any function prototype. So you can check it out where you are writing your function, user defined function, whether it is below main or above main. Based on that, you need to write out the function prototype. Okay, so this is the function definition you have started. Find nth term, we want to find it out. Now let us write down the logic. So if only one term is there, if n is equal to only 1, then what is the answer? So return A is the output for us. Now if n is equal to 2 terms are there, then what is the output? It is return B. So if n is equal to 3, then what will happen? So return C is the output. So we'll return the C value. Return C value. If, because the first 3 terms we know. First 3 terms are A, B, C. So that's why we are writing the base case or terminating case in recursive function, that if n is equal to 1 term, then A value is the output. If n is equal to 2 terms, then B is the output. If n is equal to 3, then C is the output, because this is given. A, B, C values are given already in the question. Now, else, otherwise, if n is more than 3, then we have to find out the nth term. So how to find out the nth term? So for that, let us call the function again. So what is the question given? So the question is to find out s of n minus 1, comma your ABC value. So we can write down find underscore nth term. We'll call the function. This is the name of the function. We'll call this function by changing the argument to n minus 1, a comma b comma c, plus again we can call the function find nth term, okay, by changing the argument to n minus 2, comma a comma b comma c. Okay, now otherwise you add it up once again, because it is the formula is given, your s of n minus 1 ABC value, s of n minus 2 ABC value, and s of n minus 3. So this is a triple recursion. So find underscore nth term, so n minus 3, comma a comma b comma c. So this is the function find nth term is called thrice over here. Okay, so you know that when you call a function once, it is called your single recursion. When you call it twice, it is called binary recursion. When you call it thrice, it is called triple recursion, and so on. So it is an example of multiple recursion where the function is called thrice by itself. Okay, so here we have only changed the arguments. So let us save the program and let us run it to see the output. So we have saved the program. Now let us run the program and see the output. Okay, now what is the input that we are expecting? The n value and ABC value. So suppose n value is the 5th term and ABC values are some 1 to 3. Then what is the output? The nth term in the series is nothing but 11. Okay, so if you will just do it manually, you can verify the output that it will be 11. Now let us rerun it and check with another test case. Now let us rerun it. Now take n value is equal to the 10th term we are asking, and the values of ABC are 2, 3 and 4. then the nth term, or that is the 10th term in the series, will be 335. Okay, so you can check this values. So now let us move on to our program again and go for the second problem in the. So first program that we have discussed is how to calculate the nth term in the series. Okay, now let us go for the second example. So the second example is regarding the sum of student marks. So in this example, you have been given an array of integers, so which is nothing but marks array, so which contains the marks of the students. And there are two types of students marks. There are basically two types of students are there, that is girls and boys, and the marks scored by the girls and boys are combinedly given in the array. So these marks are given as the alternating terms, that is marks of 0, marks of 2, 4, so on. That is the even marks, even number of terms are nothing but the marks for the boys, and the odd terms in the array indicate the marks of the girls. So similarly, marks of 1, 3, 5 and so on denote the marks of girls. Okay, now the array name marks works as a pointer, so which stores the address of the array, and it marks of 0 is stored in so and so address, marks of 1 is stored in so and so address. So let us take one example. Suppose the marks is equal to 3 to 5. So the marks array will have an address in memory. So suppose this is the address in memory. So this is a very big hexadecimal address. So your system will give you any address of your RAM location, and this is nothing but the starting address of the array, or you can say this is the address of marks 0 location. Now what you have to do in this program? So you have to write down a function that is called mark summation function. You have to write down. Okay, now this mark summation function will contain the marks of each student, and it will contain these three parameters. One is it containing one marks array which contains the marks of boys and girls. Then the second input is nothing but the number of students, which is nothing but the size of the array is nothing but the number of students whose marks are stored into the array. And you have to also read the gender, which is either G or B. So in the program, we have to read three things. What is that input format? Let us check it. In the input format, the first line contains the number of students, okay, denoting the number of students in the class and hence the number of element in the marks array. So number of students is same as the number of marks in the array, and for each number of students, the subsequent lines they contain the marks. Okay, suppose there are 5 students are there, then you have to write down 5 marks, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, like this 5 marks you have to write it down, and then followed by you have to write down the gender. So gender is G or B, you have to write it down. Okay, so based on this you need to compute the sum of the girls marks or boys marks from the array. So let us see how to do this. Okay, so this is our Dev C++ editor, and let us try how to calculate the marks. Okay, now to calculate the marks, first what you have to do, so this is, let us write calculate the marks based on gender. Okay, so hash include stdio.h. Now because here in the question it is asked that the marks array contains its address, so we will go for the pointer mechanism. So I'll go for hash include stdlib.h. So for memory allocation, I'm going to use the malloc function over here. So otherwise the header files as and when required, you can simply add it to your program. Now how to do mark summation? So for that, let us write the mark summation as the method, so which returns an integer, which is nothing but the sum of the marks. So integer mark summation is my function. So what it takes the address of the marks array. It takes the address of the marks array or a pointer to the marks array. Then it takes the number of students, which is nothing but the number of students, okay, and it takes the gender, so character gender, okay. Now after that, in this we have to write down our logic. Now before writing down our logic for mark summation, so first let us write down our main function. So int main. Now what are the inputs first? Let us check it. What are the inputs that you have to read? Okay. So here the number of students. Then, so we are taking one looping variable I and we are taking one pointer over here. So here marks is a pointer over here. Now, apart from that, we have to read our gender. Okay. So we have taken the variable. So the number of students, I is a looping variable, and we have taken one integer pointer for memory allocation. Then we have to read the gender of the student. Okay. Now we have to also compute the sum of the marks. So let us take one sum variable. So first of all, read what are how many number of students are there. So enter number of students. Number of students we have to enter. So scanf, so which is nothing but percentile D, comma, ampersand, your n, the number of students. So for n number of students, we have to store n number of marks. So for that, we have to go for memory allocation. So marks is a pointer. So let us go for, we will go for malloc function for memory allocation. So the area which will be allocated for storing marks, we want to store some integers. So we have typecasted here to int star because it is nothing but the address of the integer array. So let us write malloc. So the number of students, and which is nothing but how many students are there. So each student marks is integer, so size of integer. Suppose we have to store 5 student marks, then how much memory we need? Each marks is an integer. So size of integer is 4 bytes. So if there are 5 students, 4 into 5, 20 bytes of space we need it. Okay. So after allocating memory, so what you have to do? Let us read the marks. Okay. So if you want, you can write down a message over here that printf enter marks for the students. Enter marks. So just this is a general message we have written. Then in the for loop, we have to read the marks. So how to read the marks? So for I is equal to 0 till I less than the number of students. The number of students means n number of marks we have to read. Then I plus plus. Okay. Now here what you have to do? You have to read the marks. How will you read? So for reading, we need the scanf function. So each marks is an integer. So let us write percentile D. At a time, one marks will be individual marks will be read and stored into the array. So how to read it? So we know the address of the array. So max plus I simply have to write down. So first time I is equal to 0. The first marks will be stored in the ith location. Okay. 0th location. Second time I becomes 1. It will be stored into the first location and so on. So marks is a pointer which contains the address of that array. So in that array, you are storing the marks in different addresses. So if marks array contains always the starting address, then subsequent addresses will be your +4 because size of each integer is 4 bytes. Okay. Now after reading the marks, then you have to read the gender. So printf. So enter gender of the student. So gender of the student will be either boy or girl. So you can go for scanf. So it is only single character. So you can write percentile C, comma, the variable is gender. So we have read how to read the gender over here. Okay. So after reading the gender, let us call the function. What is the function? The name of the function is marks underscore summation, I hope. So we have written the name of the function is marks underscore summation. And what you have to pass? You have to pass the address of the array, which is nothing but the pointer contains the address of the array, which is nothing but the marks, then any the number of students, and we have to also pass the gender. And this function returns an integer, which is nothing but the sum of the marks. So the sum, this is again a function with arguments and with return type. So after receiving the sum of the marks from here, we can simply print the sum of the marks. The sum of the marks for each gender. Okay, we can simply print. So comma sum, we are simply displaying it. Okay, so in the main function, what we have done, we have read the number of students, then we have allocated memory for storing the n number of students marks using the malloc function, and then we have read the marks and stored into those memory locations. After that, we are reading the gender and we are calling the function marks underscore summation, and we are passing 3 arguments: the marks array, address of the marks array, then n is nothing but the number of students and gender of the student. Now let us write down the function, the marks summation function, how to compute the sum of the marks. So here in the question it is given, if the marks are at the odd position, then it is the marks of the boys. If the marks are there at the even position, then those are the marks for the girls. Okay, so here how to do the summation? For that we need one integer sum variable. So initially sum is equal to 0. We need a looping variable I, and then followed by, so let us check the gender first. Okay, now the gender we are receiving over here. So if the gender double equals to your boy, if the gender is equal to boy, then what you have to do? So how to compute the sum? So for computing the sum, let us write down the loop. So for I is equal to 0, then I should be less than number of students n, and then I plus is equal to your 2, because we want the summation of alternate terms. We do not want for every term. Okay, so I plus is equal to 2 we have done, as you have started I is equal to 0, because for boys it is 0th location, 2nd location, 4th location, 6th location, so on. So that's why we have taken I is equal to 0, and I will be incremented by plus 2. Okay, so how to find out the sum? Sum is equal to sum plus your marks of I. So in the marks array, we know the address of the array. So whatever the marks are there, that is simply getting added up to the sum variable. Okay, now else, if the gender is equal to girls, then what you have to do? We have to go for another for loop where we will take I is equal to 1 and I less than is equal to your number of terms, then I plus is equal to again 2. So now here we have started with I is equal to 1. So 1, 3, 5, 7 and so on. All the odd terms will be summed up. So sum is equal to sum plus your marks of I. Okay. So with this we have completed writing our logic. Now first save the program. So marks of students. I have saved the program and let us run it. Now here it is asking enter how many students are there. Suppose n is equal to 5 students are there. Okay. So we have to enter 5 different marks. So suppose I am entering 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 5 different marks I am entering. Then the gender of the students it is not asking, it is simply skipping. So if you will find this kind of problem, then you have to understand that gender is your character variable and sometimes the buffer may be full, so it is not reading. So let us write f plus function. So whenever you have difficulty in reading, please write down, please clear the buffer by writing f plus std in. If you have problem in displaying the output on the screen, then you can do the flushing by using f plus of std out. So let us check now whether it is reading the gender or not. So again compile and run. Enter any the number of students, it is 5. Suppose the marks are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have written. then now it is waiting for me to enter the gender. Suppose I am entering the gender as B. So it is for boys. So for boys it is for it will add the marks at the your even terms. So it is so you can see over here. So it is for your 2 plus 4 it is 6. Now let us go for another test case and check. Now again rerun the program and check for another test case. Suppose the number of students are 6. Okay. Suppose I am entering some marks. 6 marks I have to enter. Then the gender is suppose girl. Then you can see the sum of the marks. It is computing wrong. So why it is computing wrong? Let us go and check it. Okay. Now here we have taken. Yes. So again rerun and check. The number of students is 5. Okay. Suppose gender is suppose girl. Okay. So let us check the program again. So why it is giving you the wrong output? Let us check it. Okay. So in the mark summation, we are receiving the address of the marks array, then the number of students and character gender. Okay. So sum is equal to 0. If gender is equal to boys, then we are running from 0th term to I plus 2. Okay. Sum is equal to sum plus marks of I. Otherwise, I is equal to 1. I less than n. I plus. Okay. This is correct. So here we are reading the marks. So after reading the marks, then we are reading the gender over here. Okay. Now, then we are reading the gender and we are calling the function and then we are displaying it. Okay. Suppose there are 3 students are there. 1, 2 and 3. So if I am entering boy, so it is coming as 3 plus 1, 4 correctly. Okay. So let us move on to the next problem. Now, in the next problem, we are going to discuss about a problem called decimal to binary conversion process. So how to convert a decimal number into binary. So given a decimal number and we need to write a program to convert into its equivalent binary number. You can look at here. Suppose the number is 17. Then how to convert into binary? So to convert into binary, we have to divide the number by 2 and we have to collect all the reminders. So when you divide a number by 2, the possible reminders are only 0 and 1. And a binary number always consists of ones and zeros only. So divide the number 17 divided by 2 is 2 8 ja 16 and the remainder is 1. Again go on dividing until you will then its remainder will be either 1 or 0. Okay, and you have to read out or you have to store the reminders from LSB to MSB. That is from least significant bit to most significant bit. So you can see over here the output is you have to read like this. It is 1 0 0 0 1. So which is nothing but the equivalent for the decimal number 17 is nothing but 1 0 0 0 1, which is nothing but in binary. So here it is base 10 and here it is base 2. So how to do this problem? To solve this problem, what is the procedure you have to follow? So here we have written the procedure. So store the remainder when the number is divided by 2 in an array and divide the number by 2 and repeat this process when the number is greater than 0. Okay. Now when the number becomes 0, then all the reminders you have already stored into the array, then display the array contents in the reverse order because we have to, the procedure says that you have to store the reminders and you have to read out the binary number from LSB to MSB. So for that you have to reverse the array. So first thing is that you have to read a number and then we have to divide the number by 2 and store its reminders in array, and then we have to display the array contents in reverse order. Okay. Now let us see how to do this process. So let us move on to our C++. So it is decimal to binary conversion. So for doing this decimal to binary conversion, so let us start hash include stdio.h. So let us start with the main program. Return 0. Okay, we have written the structure. Then first what we have to do? First we have to go for reading a number. So we'll go for int n. First read a number. So printf enter a number. Scanf, then write down percentile d, comma, ampersand n. So we have read a number. So after reading a number, we will write down a function decimal to binary. And we are going to pass this number to this function. And we will write down the logic for decimal to binary conversion in the function. So it's up to you whether you want to use a function or without using a function also you can do it. Okay. Now, so this is our main function is over. Now, what type of function we have written? We have written a function with arguments and no return type. So it takes only one argument. So we'll write down void in the function definition. So it is decimal to binary. And it takes one integer. It receives one integer int n. Now, this is the function definition part. Now, after receiving the number, what you have to do? You have to divide the number by 2 and you have to collect the reminders. So, to collect the reminders, I need one integer array. Let us take an integer array of size 10 and then I'll take for looping, I need a variable I. Okay. So, till the number is not equals to 0, we have to repeat the process. So, let us write while the number not equals to 0, you have to repeat the process. When the number becomes 0, that means all your reminders are gathered. It is there in the array. Simply you have to print the content of the array in the reverse order. So if n is not equals to 0, that means the number is not 0. Then what you have to do? Then you get the first reminder. How to get the first reminder? And the reminder should be stored into the array. So first time I have taken I is equal to 0, I will do n modulus 2. So n modulus 2 will give me the reminder of the number. So that reminder I am storing into a of ith location. First time I is equal to 0. So it is stored into the 0th location. And then I have to repeat this process by reducing the number to n is equal to n by 2. And then I have to do I plus plus. So this process will be repeated till the number becomes 0. So when the number becomes 0, this loop will be stopped and you will see that the reminders are stored into the array always. Okay. Now, after storing into the array, now print the number. So we can write down printf. So the number in binary form, let us write down one message, the number in binary form. So how to print the content of the array? Because you know that you have to print the content in reverse order from LSB to MSB you have to print. So for that I need a loop. So for I is equal to, now you can see that when in the array, whenever you are storing the values into the array, every time I has got incremented. So now you have to come back. So let me write I is equal to I minus 1 because I have to go in the reverse order. Okay. Till how far you have to go? I greater than equal to 0 and then I minus. Okay. Now we have to go in the reverse order to print the output. So printf. So percentile. You can write down percentile d and then the content of the array is nothing but a of I. Okay. So first you save the program. So it is from decimal to binary conversion. give a suitable title for this, and then let us compile and run the program. So enter any number. Let us take the same example that we are entering in number 17. So you can see the number in binary form is coming as 10001. So like that you can test it with different test cases. Let us take for the number 15, which is nothing but in binary it is 1111, 4 ones. Okay. You can take for any other test case, like you can take for the number 10, which is nothing but 1010. So like that, for various test cases, you can check whether the program is working or not. Okay. Now, after doing this program, let us go for the reverse of this program, which is nothing but how to convert a number from binary to decimal. So, how to convert the number from binary to decimal? So, suppose a binary number is given to you as input and you need to write a program to convert the number from binary to decimal. So, what is the process involved in this? Suppose the number is given as your 1010, which is nothing but 10. So, if the number is given as 10, 1010, then how to convert? So, each number will be multiplied by its base or radix. So, 0 into 2 to the power of 0, 1 into 2 to the power of 1, 0 into 2 to the power of 2, 1 into 2 to the power of 3. So, you have to multiply with its base and the position of the number. So, this is the 0th position, this is first, this is second, this is third. So, your base to the power, that is what is the position. So, after that, you have to multiply and add it up. So, when you will add it up, you will get the decimal equivalent as 10. Okay. So, this process you have to do it for binary to decimal conversion. Now, let us see how to do it in program. So, let us move on to our Dev C++ editor again. So, now the process is binary to decimal conversion. Now, we will follow the similar approach. So, we will use a function for doing the binary to decimal conversion. So, let us write #include stdio.h. Right? So, I will write down the function, your binary to decimal, bin to decimal, and what input we need, we will write it down. Okay. Now, before that, let us write down our main function. So, int main, and we have written the structure of the main program. Okay. So, in the structure of the main program, first, every binary number will be of some number of digits. It is a 4-digit number or 3-digit number or 5-digit number that you have to know, because there is a process of multiplication involved. So, it is necessary to know that the number is of how many digits. Okay. So here what we will do, we will read the value of n, which is nothing but the number of digits, and we will store the binary number into an array. So, that's why I have taken one integer array to store the binary number. And how to read the number? Because whenever you want to read the content into an array, then you need a loop. So, for that, I is the looping variable and sum is equal to initially 0. Okay. So, first let us ask the system that how many digit binary number you want to enter. Okay. Or you want to convert. So, enter number of digits in the binary number. How many digits are there in this binary number? It may be a 3-digit number, 4-digit number. So, you have to first read that part. So, %d, comma, your ampersand n. How many digits are there? Okay. Now, after that, we will, after reading the number of digits, let us call the function bin to decimal, and let us pass the value of n, which is nothing but the number of digits. So, if you want the remaining process, reading the number and all, we can do it in the function also. If you want to do it here, you can do it and pass it to the function. Otherwise, you can do it there. Okay, so here I am just reading the value of n and passing. So n is nothing but an integer. So let me write here int n. So n is nothing but an integer I am reading over here. Okay, now after reading the number of digits, first read the number over here. So to read the number here, let me remove the array. I don't need also. So here I need to go for declaring one array to store the number. Okay, then I need a looping variable. I need to calculate the sum. So sum is equal to 0. All this process I am writing over here. So first read the number. Okay, so printf, let us write enter the binary number. So how to enter the binary number? For that we have to write down a loop. So for I is equal to 0, I less than the number of digits and I plus plus. Now here you write down scanf percentile d comma ampersand a of I. So your binary number reading part is over. So this is called reading a digits of the binary number. Okay. Now after reading the digits of the binary number, then what you have to do? You have to go for the multiplication process. So how to do the multiplication process? Again, with each individual digits you have to multiply. Okay, 2 into power of that number. So let us take the position, because we should know the position of the number, and let us take initially position is equal to 0. So for doing the multiplication process, let me write we have to do it in the reverse order. Okay, so for I is equal to n minus 1, n is nothing but the number of digits. So if it is a 4-digit number, we have to start multiplication with the third digit number, then second, then first, then so on. So till I greater than equal to your 0 and I minus minus. Okay, so the process we have to carry out in the reverse order. So what you have to do? We have to compute the sum. So let us write sum plus is equal to, with each individual digit, which is nothing but in the array a of I. First time I is equal to n minus 1. If it is a 4-digit number, then a of 3. So which is nothing but, which indicates the 4th digit. Okay, into, so power of how much? 2 comma your position. Position is initially 0, then we will increment the position. So position plus plus we have to do it. And this process will be repeated for every digit. Okay, 2 to the power of 0, 2 to the power of 1, 2 to the power of 2, 2 to the power of 3 and so on. This process is carried out in the reverse order. With each individual digit, your base to the power of position is multiplied and then it is added up. Okay, so here we are doing sum is equal to sum plus a of I into power of 2 comma position. So after getting the sum, we will simply print the sum over here, or the sum is nothing but the equivalent decimal number. So the equivalent decimal number is nothing but the value of sum over here. And as we are not returning anything, so we didn't write any return. Otherwise, you can write down simple return. By default, the control will return to the main function. So this way we have written the program. This program can be written in multiple ways. This is just one of the solution. Now first save the program. It is binary to decimal conversion. After that, let us go for compile and run the program. So what we are getting here? We are getting here error that the power function we have used, but it is not this in the scope because we didn't write down the header file. So let us write hash include your math.h. Hash include math.h. Okay. So hope now will not get any error. So let us compile and run it again. Yes. Now it is asking enter the number of digits in the binary number. Okay. It is suppose a 4-digit number. So enter the binary number. So 1, 1, 1, 1. 4 ones I have given. So the number, so equivalent decimal number is 15. Now let us try with different test cases. So let us rerun the program again. Number of digits, suppose it is a 3-digit number. Binary number is 1, 0, 1 and its equivalent is 5. Okay, you can test it with different numbers. Suppose we'll give it is a 5-digit number. Okay, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. So you can see the equivalent decimal number is 7. So today we have discussed a number of problems regarding the your loops and functions. So we have discussed today the binary to decimal conversion problem and its vice versa, and followed by how to compute the nth term in the series using recursive approach, and how to add the marks of the student in the odd and even terms also, that we have discussed. So thank you so much.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.